Welcome back to JJK. We are back. We've been gone for weeks. If you can't tell right now, I'm a little bit sick, so I'm gonna let Kaj do most of the talking today. But
Hmm.
we got some free agency. This isn't a podcast. This is free agency signings today. So crazy stuff is happening. It's only Monday. So all right. So we're gonna go through everything that's happened, but we're only gonna discuss the big guys, the big names. And then we'll do free agency predictions on our podcast tomorrow, so you'll have to tune in for that. We're sorry we've been gone, but we plan to be back every week now. So, all right. Oh, it just updated again. That's crazy. All right. So the first
I
thing we're
can't give us a break, man. What's the first one?
gonna start with is Antonio Gibson, running back from the Commanders, signs 3-year deal with the Patriots.
I think he's going to be a pretty nice spot on that Patriots offense because they're just a young squad
Yeah, I
and
thought
they
he
need
was
all the
gonna be
pieces they
so good. Earlier in his career, his first 2 seasons, and then he kind of wasn't good. So we'll see. All right, and then the Patriots have cut Devontae Parker. Kaj, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Well, the Patriots have cut wide receiver Devontae Parker, so probably trying to free up some cap space so they can go get a big name like T. Higgins. But we'll save more of the predictions for the podcast tomorrow. But they're probably trying to clear up a little bit of space here, getting rid of Devontae Parker to have more cap room to sign big names.
Yeah.
Falcons have agreed to terms with Charlie Wooner. Um, former the Falcons have signed him. He was a former. It doesn't say, but I don't really know who it is. Oh, I think he was a Niner actually. I think he was a Niner. But yeah, so they're gonna get some depth there at the tight end with Kyle Pitts and Johnny Smith. All right,
Yeah,
here's
I
our
mean,
first. Oh, you go ahead, Kosh.
they're going to need some like big names and this is what's coming up next for the Falcons. It's a pretty big signing, I guess.
Yeah, we'll get there soon. This is our first like a person signing. The Panthers are planning to add Robert Hunt. That's going to give some great news for Bryce Young and that O line because I think Bryce Young is still
Uh-huh.
a capable quarterback. I think Bryce Young will still be good at football. So I think Bryce Young has what it takes to actually be good at football. I don't think he'll
I
ever be good as
100%
TJ,
agree.
but I don't think he's a bad football player.
I
All right,
100%
next.
agree.
Yeah, Bryce Young is not bad. All right, next. This is also coming from Adam Schefter. I think everything you look at today is, but this is Cardinals to add DT Bill No Nichols. I've heard of him before. He's pretty good. He's pretty solid. He'll get him some sacks. Add some pressure up there on the front for the Cardinals, who had a pretty weak
Mhm.
front last year. And they did show some sign in the end weeks when Kyler Murray came back. So we'll see if they can be good. All right, Taj will be excited about this one. Vikings signing
Mhm.
linebacker Cashman. Blake Cashman is now a Viking.
He'll be, I think he'll be a good piece on that linebacker core. I think he'll probably more be like a mentor, or not like a mentor, but he'll be like a good like piece to like bolster and give depth. He'll probably get a starting spot, most likely in that linebacker core, but he's definitely going to be a big signing for us.
Yeah. All right, and next, this is the biggest thing we have so far. The Packers have signed Josh Jacobs and cut Aaron Jones. I'll let you start with this being in your divisional. Do you think it was the right move?
I think I'm a little scared of that Packers team. And next year we're going to be bottom of the division. We'll get into that later in later weeks, but it's just, man, like now that we have to face Josh Jacobs and Jordan Love 2 weeks
Yeah.
out of the season, they're going to be a problem, man.
With
Josh
that rush,
Jacobs still. yeah, Josh Jacobs has like a league leading rusher a couple of seasons back. Like he's still an amazing running back. He was just on an untalented team, and now he's on a talented team, and you can tell what he's gonna do.
All right. But yeah, I think that's great. I think with Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs, that team, I think they win the division. We'll talk more about that later. But I think they dethrone the Lions and win the division, actually. So I think Josh Jacobs is a huge addition for that Packers team. All right, next, this is pretty much nothing. The Jaguars. Here, I'll talk about something else. The Jaguars traded for Mac Jones yesterday. And obviously, Trevor's the better player than Mac Jones. But I think Mac Jones there will get him a safe backup option to where if Trevor is hurt like he was this year, they can actually sit him and give him time to rest. And then they can
Mm-hmm.
have a guy like Mac Jones. I don't think Mac Jones ever truly had a fair shot. And I kind of liked him, but he was kind of booty in New England. But I think with Jaguars, if he sits behind Trevor Lawrence, kind of learns a little bit, I think they'll be an okay team. All right, and then they
Yeah,
also signed kicker Will Lutz, former Saint, former Bronco.
Will Lutz was actually a pretty solid kicker.
Hmm.
I mean, he was good at times, and he made those big like plays, and he was a pretty reliable kicker. So we'll see where his career gets headed over at the yeah.
All right, another Vikings one. Andrew Van Ginkel signed to the Vikings. I'll let you talk about this, Kosh.
Another linebacker, and same thing as like how all the other linebackers is. We've needed like more like big time players over at that linebacker core because it's a pretty young linebacker core, if I do say so myself. When Daniel Hunter got moved from left outside linebacker to defensive end, that linebacker core was just lacking some assets on that team. So I like how they're moving, how they're doing more than they did last offseason and try and address these holes.
All right, next, Saquon Barkley to sign with the Eagles. I'll also let you start on this one. I've been talking on that.
This is a pretty crazy signing. I would have never expected the Eagles to need like a running back. Saquon Barkley, I mean, he's gonna be behind. He's gonna be behind Jalen Hurts, and we all know Jalen Hurts just a ball hog, not letting these running backs, run. But of course, he's definitely going to be a big part of that offense because he's an amazing running back in this league. And if he gets touches, I think he'll be good.
Yeah, this is time. It's time for Saquon Barkley's career to take off. It's time for Saquon Barkley to be what we all know Saquon Barkley can be. All right,
Hmm.
and arguably the biggest thing that has happened in free agency, Kirk Cousins is leaving the Vikings and has signed with the Atlanta Falcons. I'll let you start with this relating to your Vikings.
This is insane. And I got a little scared for a second yesterday because they said the Vikings are not out of the Kirk Cousins race, and I was like, oh no, we're gonna re-sign him, but we didn't. He went to free agency, and now he's at the Falcons, which is even better for us. I was talking to my dad about this literally yesterday, saying this is a young Atlanta Falcons offense. They're gonna need a veteran in that offense, and I think Kirk Cousins is the perfect veteran. And I just spoke it into existence. Kirk Cousins is now a Falcon, and now that Justin Fields does not have a clear place to go to, that leaves the Vikings to get Justin Fields. And come on, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, make something happen.
Not gonna lie, I'm a teensy bit scared with that Kirk Cousins because the quarterback is what was holding the quarterback and coach was
Mm,
holding the Falcons back significantly. So I am a little scared for my Saints in the NFC South. So, and obviously we don't have any money, so we haven't been doing anything in free agency. So teensy bit scared. All right, but yeah, I think Kirk Cousins will be great with the Falcons. I think the Falcons are a 10-11 win team next year. But the Saints were gonna win 14, so it's okay. All right, so the
Oh,
Panthers have cut Von Bell. I get it because of the salary cap, so I get it.
hmm
Von Bell's a good cornerback though, so I am a little excited to see where he goes because he's
Yeah.
or not cornerback safety, but yeah, he is good. So hopefully he goes somewhere where they can be successful. And I think that I get what the Panthers are doing, trying to maybe bring in a big name so Bryce Young can win maybe 6 games this year. But I need some cap room to get those big guys. So, all right, Rams sign guard Jonah Jackson, a great offensive lineman for them. 3 years, $51 million for the Rams.
He's
Kelpie
definitely
Stafford,
gonna be good.
yeah. Kelpie help keep Stafford protected in the end of his career here. I think that's a great move by the Rams because with Stafford being more vulnerable to injuries, that will help. All right, and next we have Jaguars signed Gabe Davis to a 3-year deal, $39 million. I'll let you start with this one, Kosh.
I don't think Gabe Davis would really be like a major impact. He's a good, solid little wide receiver 3 to have. He's a good receiver to have on the squad. But if you want like a major player and you want like a big time player, you got to go for like a T. Higgins or somebody. I mean, Gabe Davis, I'm not like throwing shade on Gabe Davis. He's a good receiver, but he's just like a poor man's T. Higgins. But I mean, they wanted to save money, so.
All right, and doing it for us today, the Raiders have signed Christian Wilkins, and this is huge for the Raiders. They are going to have a
Yeah.
crazy defensive line with, why can't I think, Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins there. That's going to be a crazy good defensive line. And I like, he's a funny person, Christian Wilkins. If you look up Christian Wilkins mic'd up, there's some hilarious content there. But he is a great personality guy, and he is also a great football player. So that's really big for the Raiders.
hmm
All right, Kosh, you have any more opinions on anything today that happened? Let me refresh to see if anything new happened.
Well, the Raiders stole Christian Wilkins off of us. That was my like big Vikings like a sign Christian Wilkins to bolster up that defensive line. Like that was my guy, but we just it something stuff happens and now we have more money to dish out elsewhere, but we need to fix that defensive line if we want to like get some wins and if we don't want to be the bottom half of the division next year.
I hate to cut you off, but there is some new breaking news just opened ESPN back up. The Titans have signed Tony Pollard to a 3-year deal. So
Whoa.
Derrick Henry definitely isn't coming back to the Titans after this. Had a great career with the Titans, but it's his end here, so we'll see if Derrick Henry can still be a good football player. I think he still
hmm
got it, but we'll see.
I think Derrick Henry will be like a good veteran guy. He'll be like an Ezekiel Elliott, like just a good player on a bad squad.
All right, but stay tuned for tomorrow. Our podcast will come out. Podcast episode 11. It's been a while since we've had one. We're excited to get back to it. Hopefully my voice is better tomorrow. But this is JJK signing off.